Welcome to the Daily Decant, your 5-minute briefing on the world of wine. Each episode delivers practical insights to help you choose, order, and talk about wine with more confidence in everyday social settings. Let's get into today's decant. We're continuing with Rosé Week, and today we are in Provence, the region in southeastern France that has done more than any other place in the world to define what serious dry rosé looks like. The wines here are the benchmark. They're the reference point. When a rosé from California or Chile or Australia describes itself as Provence style, they mean pale color, bone dry, delicate, fresh, and mineral. And while some of those imitations are excellent, none of them are quite the same as the real thing. So let's understand why. Provence is the oldest wine region in France. Greek settlers planted vines here around 600 BC, long before the Romans arrived anywhere else in Gaul. It stretches along the Mediterranean coast from the Rhone Delta in the west to the Italian border in the east, inland through hills and rocky limestone massifs. The climate is quintessentially Mediterranean: hot, dry summers, mild winters, abundant sunshine, and the famous Mistral wind that sweeps down the Rhone Valley and keeps the vineyards dry and ventilated. That combination produces grapes of extraordinary natural freshness despite the heat. The sea breeze moderates temperatures, the Mistral prevents disease, and the well-drained limestone and clay soils dress the vines just enough to concentrate flavors without losing aromatics. The 3 appellations you need to know are Côte de Provence, covering most of the region and producing the majority of Provence rosé. Within Côte de Provence, there are several crus, classified subzones that are increasingly appearing on labels. Saint-Victoire, Fréjus, and Lalonde are the ones most likely to appear on serious bottles. Coteau d'Im-Provence is the western zone, which is slightly cooler, producing rosés with more structure and weight. And Bandol is the most serious appellation in Provence, for rosé, where Mourvedre must make up at least 50% of the blend. Bandol Rosé is the most structured, age-worthy wine and most complex rosé produced anywhere in France. It's a completely different wine from a typical pale Provence rosé, darker in color, richer in texture, with savory, earthy, and floral complexity that can develop beautifully over 5 to 10 years in the cellar. The grapes. Grenache is the backbone, providing red berry fruit, body, and the characteristic pale copper pink color when pressed quickly. Cinsault brings freshness and floral lift, including peach blossom, white flowers, and a certain lightness. And Mourvedre adds structure, dark fruit, and that savory mineral quality that makes Bandol so distinctive. Syrah adds spice and depth in some blends, and the rare native grape Tuberon, mainly found around the coastal village of Gassin, produces wines of extraordinary salinity and aromatic complexity that are worth seeking out specifically. Producers to know for the classic pale Provence style are Domaine Haute, the most prestigious estate in the region, producing 3 single estate rosés that are benchmarks of the appellation, particularly the Clos Mireille, Chateau Miraval, the estate owned by Brad Pitt, and genuinely excellent wine regardless of the celebrity association. Chateau d'Esclans, producer of Whispering Angel, the most widely sold Provence rosé in the U.S., and their top wine, Garous, which is aged in oak and is arguably the most complex single vineyard Provence rosé available. For Bandol, Domaine Tempier, the legendary estate that essentially defined what Bandol rosé could be. It's rich, serious, and worth every penny. The practical takeaway is that not all Provence rosé is the same, and understanding the tiers is the single most useful thing you can know when navigating a wine list or a top shelf. A basic Côte de Provence from a large cooperative at $12 is a pleasant, refreshing wine for a party. There's no shame in it. It does the job. A single estate cru Côte de Provence from Domaine Haute or Chateau Miraval at $35 to $45 is a genuinely complex, terroir-driven wine that will surprise anyone who thinks rosé is simple. And a Bandol rosé from Domaine Tempier at $30 to $35 is one of the most intellectually satisfying rosés produced anywhere in the world. It's richer, more structured, capable of real aging, and a completely different proposition from the pale Provence style, despite being made just 30 miles away. Know what tier you're in and buy accordingly. Tomorrow, the most serious rosés of the Southern Rhone, Tavel, and his underrated neighbor, Lirac. You don't want to miss it. That's today's Daily Decant. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe and share with your friends so you can continue building your wine knowledge in just a few minutes a day. See you tomorrow for the next decant.